Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gina Marie Agderian. I am the author of The Letters in the Old House, available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. I will have a link to purchase the book in the description below. So today is another episode of Book Talk. This is a series where I talk about a book that I recently read, what I liked, what I didn't like, and ultimately help you determine if you would like to read this book. So today I am talking about Ward D by Freida McFadden. This is, I believe, the third book by Freida McFadden that I have read, and quite honestly, I think I need to give it a rest because I know she's super popular right now, and it's nothing personal against her. I just don't really enjoy these books. I don't find them suspenseful or scary. This book I would give a 2.5 rounded up to 3 out of 5. It's about a young woman named Amy. She is going to medical school and she has to gain experience in a psychiatric ward in a hospital. And so she's scared out of her mind. She doesn't want to do it. Her friend, who's also in medical school, is telling her, "Oh, it'll be fine. I work there and I've been working and doing work there for the past couple of weeks. It's totally fine. You're totally safe." So right off the bat, she has a really big irrational fear of going into a psychiatric facility. And don't get me wrong, I think most people would be a little bit apprehensive. But if you're going into medicine, you should not be so squeamish about being around people who are mentally ill, and understanding that there are safety precautions in place for the staff at the facility. So she's illogically afraid, and the author really doesn't explain why she's afraid. She just keeps saying she's afraid, and she knows somebody in there. It's her former best friend, and that maybe does add to a bit of the reason as to why she's so apprehensive to go into Ward D. But it just really doesn't explain her fear. Like, she has this crazy fear of going into Ward D. So she goes in. Naturally, there's no cell phone service, and without really giving too much away, there are a series of things that happen that it's a very improbable scenario, let's say, as to what happens to her. And Freida McFadden tends to do this. A lot of her books, at least the ones that I've read, have featured somebody either working in the medical field or in the medical field, or a doctor or a nurse practitioner or a nurse. And I have no medical experience, but from what I read in these books and just from what I know specifically about being about somebody being in the medical field, a lot of things that happen are just so improbable in her books. And it really makes me wonder why she writes her characters to be so stupid. And you can write a book with a character that's maybe naive, or maybe there's something suspenseful going on or scary going on, and the character is smart. I've read plenty of those books, but it just feels like she writes her characters, her main characters, protagonists, to be incredibly stupid. And I think that's what I have a hard time with, and this book is no exception. If you're trying to become a doctor and you're in med school, you're not an idiot. You're a smart person. But unfortunately, the author has shown time and time again that she is not afraid of writing her characters who are in the medical profession as idiots, and just accepting things that are happening, like no cell phone service in a Ward D in a psychiatric facility. Like, that would never happen. Other things, that happen in here, like the power going out and stuff like that, just it would never happen. And the character just takes it as face value, like, oh, okay, I guess this is happening, and doesn't question it. This book did not sit well with me. It does move decently fast. I feel like if you're at the airport or you're just looking for something quick to read and you don't have too much of a selection, it's fine to pick it up. It's not horrific. It didn't click with me. It made no sense. And I just don't like reading about dumb characters, especially when they're supposed to be more intelligent than the average person, especially given what the what the protagonist was going to school for. So anyway, Ward D by Freida McFadden. Let me know in the comments if you like this book, if you didn't like this book, or if you plan to read it. And as always, guys, happy reading.